Muslim fired for dress code violation demands job back, boss has just 6 words. After a woman refused to remove her hijab in compliance with the company's dress code, she was promptly fired from her job. Thinking she could intimidate her employer with accusations of Islamophobia, the woman demanded her job back. However, her former boss had 6 simple words that immediately silenced her. Despite making up less than 4% of Canada's population, Muslims are such a vocal and aggressive special interest group that they've already succeeded in pressuring the government to implement Sharia blasphemy laws. Now, many Canadian patriots are too fearful of legal or terrorist retaliation to stand up to the entitled Muslim movement. Luckily, there are still a politically incorrect few who are willing to gamble their livelihoods to combat this religious supremacy in their hard-earned businesses. According to CBC News, 3 Muslims claimed they were fired because of Islamophobia in the workplace at Husky and Gary's Lloydminster location in early June. Amina Rashid, 24, told local media that she and her 2 Muslim colleagues were terminated from their positions with Newcart Contracting Limited after employees complained about their hijabs. In a perfectly ironic twist, the co-workers felt discriminated against because the Muslim employees were granted special privilege to wear head coverings while they were denied equal treatment. He shouted from the other side of the room, "Hey you," said Rashid. "My hijab," he referred to it as a hoodie. He said that if he doesn't get to wear a hoodie then I'm not allowed to wear it either. And I told him it's not a hoodie, it's a religious headscarf. Because of the rising number of complaints, the manager informed the woman that they would be required to remove their hijabs. As expected, they refused, instead choosing to wear the oppressive religious and political symbols. It was then that the employer told them to pack up their belongings and leave. Of course, the conflict was only beginning. Enraged by their termination, Rashid returned to the employer's office and demanded reconsideration for the position, which is allowed under the company's policy. The manager then informed Rashid that she would have been reconsidered for rehiring, but because of how you're acting now, she forfeited her consideration for reimplementation, according to Radio Canada. "This conversation's over. You're eligible for reemployment for the next shutdown, but because of how you're acting now, you're not," the manager said, according to Rashid. Like clockwork, Rashid and her 2 colleagues are responding as most Muslims do when their demands for Sharia compliance aren't met. The trio has filed complaints with the Alberta Human Rights Commission, claiming that they're the ones discriminated against even though they were being held to the same dress code as their co-workers of other faiths. On Tuesday, Rashid went to the media to play the victim, flagrantly accusing the company of creating an atmosphere of Islamophobia, which is a claim Muslims use to silence critics of their religion's oppressive and violent fundamentals. "I was shocked, because usually in a situation like that you fire the person who was the one who was being the bully," said Rashid. "You don't fire the victim. You don't fire the person who was trying to stand up for themselves. Losing this job derailed my life and possibly my future." The company is being hounded by leftist media which have already biasedly sided with the Muslim accusers, taking their word as infallible truth. Fortunately, the company is defending the manager's actions, adding that they have no problem accommodating religious requirements as long as they're reasonable and do not endanger the individual, co-workers, or the workplace environment. Newcart is proud to offer a safe, inclusive employment experience for all our employees regardless of race, gender, creed or culture, the statement reads in part. Newcart accommodates the religious requirements of our employees whenever possible and practical for the workplace and health and safety requirements of the worksite, the workplace policies of Husky, and most importantly the provincial and federal health and safety statutes and regulations.